The John LeBang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Welcome to 60 minutes more of sonic vibrations that cause chronic brain cell rejuvenation. And we might need some brain cell rejuvenation, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that's in the news seems to be heading in one direction. The mainstream news I'm talking about. And we'll start with Mr. John McCain, because he is out there preaching that, we shouldn't be suppressing the freedom of the press. And you have CNN out there saying the same kind of thing, because they're so used to having free reign with the Clinton News Network. And because a new sheriff is in town, and he doesn't want to deal with CNN because they are fake news. People are saying he's suppressing the press, and he's not suppressing the press. He's allowed Alex Jones and InfoWars to get press credentials. They never had them before. Other news outlets that were independent from the mainstream media are now allowed to be at those press conferences, and they have press passes. So, from my point of view, I see it as Donald Trump allowing more press to report the news. More press in, being more free. And just because CNN doesn't like what's going on, because they are the establishment news agency, fake news agency, propaganda wing of the Democratic Party. And John McCain isn't happy about it. And now he's the one being told to go out there and make a ruckus because he's a Republican. And that way there's some legitimacy from the Republican John McCain. Remember when everybody hated John McCain when he was running against BO back when? 2008? And the news media portrayed him as the Donald Trump of the time, actually. He was the bad guy. He was going to take away freedom and those sort of things. Now he's their little darling. They love John McCain. They sent him out to be just another thorn in the side of Donald Trump. And what kills me is I have to sound like I'm defending Donald Trump, and I'm not. But the fake news media that's out there, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, primarily CNN, they're the worst. And there's some online news agencies as well that are also fake news. They avoided so many things during the Obama administration. They looked the other way. And it took the alternative media to expose what was really behind these things that the mainstream media didn't find worthy enough to tell the public, to expose to the public. They primarily, for the most part, ignored most of the WikiLeaks and dismissed it. Because they were hacked emails, it didn't matter. Don't worry about what's in the emails. Because they're hacked, they're not legitimate. You shouldn't be looking at them. Now, they're all in favor of the I don't know if it's hacking or leaks, but there's a soft coup going inside the government right now. And people are leaking information to the fake news. And the fake news runs with it. They got it wrong with the National Guard story now, didn't they? Here's the AP running with the story saying the National Guard was being talked about to round up people. And it wasn't the administration, Donald Trump and his immediate cabinet, that was discussing this. But all of a sudden it was Donald Trump was going to round up everybody with the National Guard. And that's the most recent piece of fake news that we have to deal with. When I heard that, I was like, really? I better go check this out. Because I understand posse comitatus. And only in times of emergency should these National Guard troops be on the streets. So I'm like, I better check this out. That sounds weird. That sounds something the Democrats would do. You know, they did that in Boston. I mean, not with the National Guard. They just went in with the jackbooted police there and ran through everybody's home, searching for a guy who had a gunshot wound to his throat. He's there in a boat, right? Yeah, he's really going through people's houses. But it gave them the opportunity to do so. That's okay when a Democrat does it. But now they're all worried. It sounds like the conspiracy theorists that were on the right when Obama was in office. I can't wait for the FEMA camp talk to start happening on the left now. It'll be great. It's probably already happened. They'll be talking about the coffins and the FEMA camps, and maybe they'll be like filming all the trains driving by with all the tanks on them and going, oh no, martial law's coming. Trump's in office, martial law's coming. John McCain's out there. He's acting like, oh, Trump's trying to stop the freedom of the press. I don't see that, Mr. McCain. When he allows InfoWars and other smaller agencies that weren't allowed to be there before, that weren't part of the mainstream establishment news agencies, the fake news corporations, they weren't allowed there during the Obama administration. Trump says we're going to open it up to more people. We're going to have more diversity in the news. I thought the left loved diversity. Of course, that's only when it comes from their side, right? So what? CNN gets pushed to the side a little bit. Good. Their ratings suck anyways. What is it? I saw the top 5 shows out there. 4 of them were on Fox. They just had the ratings out just recently. So 4 of them are on Fox. So that obviously more people are watching Fox News than CNN. There's not more people in the country that are Republican, are there? Oh, there must be. That's right, because, well, they won the election. But that doesn't mean there's more people that are Republican, does it? That just means nobody wanted Hillary. They're always battling for that middle ground, you know, that what do they call that, swing voter, right? Sometimes they vote Democrat and sometimes they vote Republican. And this John McCain thing is just another step in this soft coup that is happening inside the government. These leaks that are coming out about phone calls with this leader of this world and one phone call about this leader of this country. Somebody is leaking this information. Remember, the Trump administration has only been there about a month, not even quite a month yet. So they haven't been able to remove all the bad apples. They haven't had time to drain the swamp fully. I'm sure it's coming. There's going to be a shift in government. A lot of people are worried about their jobs, and because they're worried about their jobs, because they're maybe treasonous people, maybe people that are not exactly doing the American people's work, maybe they're being traitorous. I don't know. But there are a lot of people in government that we need to have removed. They've been there too long. They have too much power, too much control. And in that regards, I'm supporting Donald Trump in draining the swamp. We need the swamp drained. And most of his actions, outside of a few that we're going to start talking about here soon, I'm giving him a little time to kind of right the ship a little bit. We don't want to be too critical of the president while everybody else is attacking him, because that makes me think that he's doing the right thing. The whole establishment is up in a roar right now. Anybody who's part of the New World Order establishment that was inside the government is now freaking out because Donald Trump is in office. The New World Order looks to be teetering, at least here in the United States. It could be pushed out of this country. And let's hope Donald Trump isn't just part of the larger chess game that is going on, and he wasn't put in place to implement things that are going to be New World Order related. I don't think so, at least right now. Day by day, I feel that he's more his own man than ever before. With so many people, and I'm speaking establishment types. I'm not talking about the little protesters out there who are being paid, or at least the leaders of these organizations are being paid to be there and paid to rile people up. I'm not speaking of those people. I'm talking the hardcore establishment types that have been entrenched so deep into our government that it's going to take a major root canal to get them out. And let's hope Donald Trump is the right dentist for that. All right, folks, we are up against our first break here in the second hour of this week's broadcasting. Please check out our sponsors. They support us, and if you support them, they will continue to help the John LeBang Show.
Hey, don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back. I promise.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too. think we can contain it, Uncle Shady.
You know, I should have known better than to use stall number 2.
What's all the commotion, fellas?
Oh, we've got a backup.
Stall number 2, eh?
Damn right.
I think we should call in Idork, Uncle Shady.
You know, I second that. I'm not going in there. It was bad enough the first time.
All right, I'll call her, Uncle Shady.
Well, you do that.
Idork, we need you at the lavatory ASAP. She's on her way, Uncle Shady.
I might have to stop eating so many beans.
Well, at least they're good for you.
In more ways than one. So where you headed?
I'm headed down to the basement.
Oh, it's feeding time at the zoo, huh?
That's one way of putting it. Well, good luck with the toilet.
Thanks. And do yourself a favor. Don't stay down there too long. You're liable to catch whatever they got.
I'm straight, Shady.
Well, let's hope so.
Uncle Shady, here comes Idork.
At your service.
Well, it's about time you got here.
I've only got 2 retractable hands.
We need you to clean and sanitize the lavatory.
Oh, great. Who did it this time?
Don't you worry about who did it this time.
I should have known. You are a repeat offender.
Well, I'm offended that you said that.
Get over it.
But Uncle Shady, it's the truth.
Now, don't bother me with the truth. I'm busy ignoring it.
Figures.
Now, hurry up and clean this up before it becomes a toxic waste zone.
Acknowledged. Oh, Lord. I've always got to do the dirty work.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good tie stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
Well, apparently the National UFO Reporting Center, an organization that records UFO sightings since the beginning of the 20th century, is stating that we're at an all-time high in UFO sightings. And that must mean that ET is here, right? I'm sure a lot of people who are reading this story that there's a record amount of UFO sightings. That's the first thing that enters their mind. ET is here. ET is showing up, and we're seeing them all over the place. And apparently, here in the United States, we're seeing more UFOs than anywhere else in the world. And again, that must be due to ET. At least that's the first thought of the people who believe that aliens must be visiting us. They have visited us, or they're going to visit us. And I find that, a little silly. Because there may be alien life forms out there in the distant galaxy. Light years and light years away. Many light years. They may even have some sort of advanced travel. But to think that the lights in the sky that we are seeing, especially here in the U.S., the most technologically advanced country on the planet, to think that these UFO sightings, unidentified flying objects, are ET, or just to assume that that's what that is not thinking things through fully. We know our government secretly tests a various amount of vehicles. Not just planes, not just helicopters, but they have tested all sorts of vehicles. That's because they were trying to get to space. Now we are 50 plus years later. You don't think we have aircraft that fly all around and they're testing that stuff? I mean, it is dark when we see UFOs most of the time. So all we see are lights in the sky. And they move maybe differently than an airplane or a helicopter. Don't you think that the United States government would be testing any theory they could come up with on the possibility of flight to see if they could either save fuel, become more efficient with speed, all sorts of things, right? I don't know. That's for the people that are building those things. And what are the possibilities of an alien race coming to this planet, looking over us, and our military not shooting them down for freaking out? How paranoid are the leaders of this world? They wouldn't have restraint if they saw a fleet of alien spacecraft. Are you kidding me? I wonder how we would feel if the aliens came here and tried to explore. Because our exploration is what? Testing? We would go to the planet and grab this rock and that specimen and maybe a life form here and test them, right? See what they're about. We do that here. Why wouldn't we do that out there? So maybe the aliens are doing it here. If you believe in the aliens. But these UFO sightings, what's the most likely thing? Is it secret government craft? Or is it ET from some distant galaxy 200 billion light years away or whatever? You've got to go with the most likely, especially with an unidentified. Is it maybe a U.S. secret plane? Or is it ET coming from Mars? Even if they're from Mars. Look, we land the Mars rover on their planet. Now they're probably upset. Let them send their rover over here. I don't know if scientists ever take that into consideration, that this exploration of planets and other heavenly bodies, how that would be like trespassing if there were another alien race. If we just happened to, cruise up on a planet and beam down. Oh, look, Jim. These sort of things are interesting, and it gets people thinking about otherworldly things. But in reality, it's not likely. The most likely thing is some kind of government craft. Heck, there are drones in the sky all the time now. And some dude with a drone, maybe a bigger one. These people know how to build things. Could be a government one, I don't know. Could be up there and hovering around doing some weird movements, and how would you know what it is and how high it is? If it's a shape you didn't recognize, you'd freak out. But I'm telling you, people, especially in this day and age, with the advancements in robotics and computerized controls, and people are thinking more ETs are coming. There may be ET out there. I'm not denying that fact. The universe is vast. There's no way of knowing what's out there. We barely know what's on the moon, and we know even less about Mars, and people want to talk about all the other things out there in the universe. We don't know anything. So what's the most likely scenario? It's got to be a government secret project. It may not be so secret. Do you really want an ET showing up at this planet, and do you want our government not to defend us from it? You think ET is going to come here all peacefully? If they're out there exploring the galaxy, they're going to probably do it for the same reasons we would do it, to find resources and a future place to move our race, because this planet will expire at some point. And it's truly a race to get us off the planet before that happens. You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
It's what's cool on radio.
With the increased amounts of planetary objects in space, be it from satellites to rockets from different countries, and now we're having private corporations get involved in space travel, and pretty soon we're going to have to have a way to control this, very much like an air traffic control type situation. It'll go beyond probably what NASA and each government can handle. So they're talking about having like a space police force in the not so distant future, which makes you think, wow, we take for granted what is going on up there. And if they need a police force of some sort, be it for, keeping certain countries away from certain countries' territory to film or something, I'm not sure all the ramifications a police force would how much that would affect the interstellar governmental travel from country to country. It's a very interesting concept, and I came across this on the New York Post of all places. And the reason this is coming up is because they made a space treaty on January 27th, 1967. The United States, United Kingdom, and Russia all made a space treaty saying they're not going to develop weapons in space. They're not going to use space for military purposes. Well, we know that's already been blown out of the water. And now there's talk that they need a police force. And it's very interesting, in my humble opinion, that with all the happenings on the planetary surface here, we often forget how much is going on up in the beyond the stratosphere, in the orbit and around the orbit of the planet. Can you imagine the amount of secret military operations that are taking place up there, let alone all the private attempts to go into space? The entire planet is filled with satellites. India's up there, Russia's up there, China's up there, the United Kingdom's up there, France is up there. And we all take that for granted. We often forget that we're now 50 plus, over half a century into space exploration and travel. I don't know the extent of our space travel because I'm not there. We have to go on second-hand and third-hand information. But just the idea that we're nearing the point in our planetary history that we're going to need some kind of traffic control space police force to make sure everything is on the up and up in space boggles the memory, the mind a little bit. We've grown up. All that stuff when my generation was a young child, when we were kids, all that stuff they were talking about, it's finally coming to fruition. It's here. It's happening. Unlike the millennials who have grown up in it, and the generation that was in between my generation and the millennials who had more of a taste of it because they were there. My generation went from record players and not going into space, barely going into space, like struggling to get there, to now we're going to have a traffic control space police force in the not so distant future. It's pretty incredible.
Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shape the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
And allow me to do a little bit of self-promotion. If you like what you're hearing here on The John LeBang Show and would like to know more, then please go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. If you have any questions for The John LeBang Show, comments, or maybe you just want to send us some hate mail, then please email us at jlebang@live.com. If you like videos and want to check out what we do on YouTube, then go to youtube.com/LeBangYourHead or just type in Banger Incorporated and you'll go right to our channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter at John LeBang. And of course, we are on Facebook, so look us up on Facebook at The John LeBang Show. This half hour is brought to you by Pane and the Glass Window Cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable minds who collaborate must can and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
Now, if you think there's something we should be covering here on the John LeBang Show, you can go to the chat room where you're listening to us on, whatever station it might be, and let us know what you think we should be talking about. And who knows, we might actually talk about it if you let us know. We have another problem at the Fukushima power plant in Japan. We used to speak about this subject on a regular basis many moons ago. But there's so many other things to put a spotlight on that, we've overlooked some of the information that has come out of there in the past few years. But right now they're having major issues because they've sent another robot down there, the second in like the last week or 2 weeks. And they had to cut the cord. It got stuck for some reason. They can't figure if it's debris or high radiation levels. We'll say the robot that went before it, its camera burned out because of high radiation levels. Now just imagine that. They're sending a robot down there and it's just breaking down because the radiation levels are off the charts. Overall, since the whole Fukushima incident happened over there, the power company TEPCO, if you're not familiar with who owns Fukushima, they've sent they've lost 7 robots in the attempt to find out what is happening. They still haven't cleaned this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is still an ongoing incident. We're talking 5 years later. Now, TEPCO has been trying to, but not very successfully, to remove molten radioactive fuel from 3 of the 4 reactors. See, these reactors need to be decommissioned. and they can't even get to them. The robots are dying, and the radiation at this point is molten. That means it's so hot that it's melted, right? It's melted everything. And they're dealing with molten radioactive fuel. And 5 years later, they're still not able to decommission 3 of the 4 reactors. But they're saying, hey, no worries. Everything outside of the Fukushima power plant, everything around there, everything outside it, no worries. We're all good. Now, if you want to believe that, ladies and gentlemen, that's your prerogative. After 5 years of molten radioactivity seeping into the earth, robot after robot after robot failing to achieve its goal because of high radiation levels or debris. They do say or debris. The one they sent in last week was to clear the debris for the one that was going in this week. And both of them failed. Both. I don't think it's debris, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's a real problem with radiation. And I'm no authority on radiation, but I would imagine that, as with most other substances, they seep out if there's a damaged area. They seep out if they're not contained. In other words, they seep out into the environment. And since power plants are built on fault lines, and these particular power plants are built right by the water, and since molten radiation is unable to be measured, let alone contained, I would think that whatever TEPCO is saying about the environment not being affected, I don't think they're telling the truth. Again, there's a CYA here. 5 years into it, maybe we're going to see a Godzilla pop up one day over Fukushima. That would be an interesting news bit to discuss. That Japan comes full circle, and it was a self-fulfilling prophecy that radiation from Japan created a creature that terrorized all of mankind. I used to joke about it that it was called Fukuzilla. It was this monster that was terrorizing all of Japan and the waters, and it was spreading, right? We had the tuna off the coast of California, it wasn't but 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even a little less, that were filled with radiation, cesium-137. The same thing inside Fukushima. But hey, no environmental problems, according to TEPCO. If that's what you want to believe, you go right ahead, folks. It's the same with that Oroville Dam. You've got people trying to contain the problem. That's all they're trying to do. Now, TEPCO couldn't do anything about the tsunami and the earthquake. And they're just dealing with it the best they can. California couldn't deal with the rain, but they sure as hell could have dealt with the structural problems that were in existence for at least 12 years with the spillway. If the spillway has a problem, can you imagine? How are they inspecting the dam to make sure there's no problems there? When you put others in charge of your safety, you put yourself in danger. If you trust other people, especially people in governments or corporations, when there's a disaster imminent, if you trust them, you're crazy. If the government is telling you everything is fine, I wouldn't believe them. Now, you make your own judgment on if you need to escape from a situation, if you need to get away from a situation, but don't let the news media or the government tell you that everything's okay. Because normally, the news media just repeats or parrots what they're being told. Just like CNN. They're told by the Obama administration and the Clinton crime family to go out there and use propaganda against Donald Trump. They also rile up people. They pay people to be out there to cause problems. And it gets other people involved because they've been brainwashed into believing Donald Trump is a terrible man. And this is the state of the world. Nobody can be trusted. You might as well just live like a hermit and pay attention to everything that's going on, but try to stay the hell out of the way of it. What else should we talk about tonight? There's a lot to. We've got the Pope saying Muslims do not cause terrorism. Then who does, Mr. Francis, Mr. Pope Francis? Who causes it then? Where does it come from? Please explain. I don't see Buddhists going out there and causing terrorists attacks or causing terrorism. Where's the Christian terrorism? Am I saying all Muslims, all Islam are terrorists? No. But it's coming out of that religion. The hardcore fundamentalists are coming out of the Muslim religion. And their extremist views and their hardline ideas are what's causing terrorism. Sure, governments around the world could be funding a lot of that. There's no doubt about that. The fake news media should have been paying attention to that during the Obama administration when they were funding ISIS and other rebel groups. And they should have vetted the president back then like they are vetting the president now. It's amazing how the news media changes the way they report things when their guy is not in office. That alone should tell you where the bias lies. Lies. What an interesting word. Because that's what fake news is. They give you a little bit of truth, and the rest of it's bullcrap. They're not telling you that George Soros is financing a lot of these protests against Donald Trump. They're not telling you the Obama administration and people inside the government who are loyal to the Obama administration are trying to pose a small coup here. A soft coup. Trying to undermine what President Trump is trying to do at every turn, because that would dismantle the entire legacy of the Obama administration. Now, would it? And Barry can't have that. His awesome legacy of the Obama nation disaster must remain. The final death nail of America must be put in place, according to Barry Soetoro, B.O., the Pink Panther. Oh, Clinton's out there. She's back out in the news media. The future is women. The future should be freedom for everybody. But we're not going there tonight. Because there's nobody out there that really wants freedom. They want their way or the highway. That's it. And not just for their life. It'd be okay if their way for the highway went for just their life, but we don't want it for our life. We want everybody else to adhere to our rules because our way is better. Our way is better. Well, there's the music, folks. That means break time is here. Stay tuned. Final segment this week is heading your way after this.
Don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You can bet on it, man.
Powerful, epic music by Toot Box Roll. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
You know, if you're getting married soon and you need good entertainment, you need to contact John LeBang. He's got 30 years of experience of wedding entertainment under his belt, and there is no one better and no one cheaper. He's running a special to the end of the year, $500 for your wedding if you book now. Contact John LeBang by email at jlebang@live.com or go to his website. That's www.jlebang.com.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
Well, it's nice to know that a technology company is brutally honest with their customers. I got to give some kudos out to Samsung for being so honest with their customers and confirming that their smart TV sets, the one you have in maybe your living room or your bedroom or any other place inside of your home or apartment or bar, wherever, they're listening to you on their TV sets. On those TV sets, they can listen to every single word their customer is saying. And the company is warning their customers not to speak about personal information while they are near their TVs. Do you have a Samsung TV in your home? I wonder. I truly wonder if the American people know the surveillance they're under. It is nice. I mean, they legally have to tell you that because in some states that's illegal to record you without knowing it. So they stick it in their little policy in the fine print there. And it says, hey, don't talk in front of the darn TV because we might hear what you're saying and a third party might hear what you're saying and then we don't know what that third party will do with it. In fact, we're not going to tell you who the third party is. It might be a small company over here, might be the NSA. We ain't going to tell you. Technology is wonderful, isn't it, folks? But not to be outdone with these TVs. And you can do this test at home on your own leisure time. Don't do any searches for anything. Don't look up anything. Take a specific item, a specific topic, maybe a restaurant, and just talk about it around your phone. Around your phone. Don't have put your phone down. Just stick it somewhere where it's close to you. And then just have a discussion with somebody about Oh, I don't know. Whatever you want. Maybe you want to talk about Pizza Slut. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk about John McCain. I don't know. Maybe you want to talk about that you haven't had a date in weeks. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, but just don't carry that conversation over to the internet in any fashion. Don't do it. And then go about your daily social media life and watch the ads that pop up. And they'll amazingly, it's a miracle. They'll amazingly relate to the subject you were talking about. You weren't on the internet. You didn't search it out. You were just talking about it. And that's because your phone is doing the same thing, especially if you're using like Siri or the other voice-activated helpers in these phones. They're listening to you and every word. And then with the Sony TV, or I'm sorry, the Samsung TV, we don't want to blame Sony for being so open about their policies of surveilling you. Sony probably hasn't told us yet that they're doing it. But if Samsung is doing it, why wouldn't Sony do it? Or Mitsubishi or whoever has a television, a portable device, a phone, anything. Why wouldn't they have that feature? Especially anything that is voice activated. You didn't think that stayed in your house, did you? I mean, you're always connected, right, via either satellite or cable. Somehow you're connected to the rest of the world because you've got that thing called the internet. And that thing called the internet, if you're connected to it in whatever way you're connected to it, whether it be your phone or your television, because you got to download those Netflix, right? No matter how you're connected to everything, that makes you linked, right? So it doesn't matter how you're connected, you're still linked to the whole world. And at a second's notice, and what can go out can come in, right? You can turn on your television and go right to Netflix, and that's coming to you when the movie is on. It's coming right to you. And your TV's sending out signals. Your voice right there if you're talking to the TV. And you're talking about whatever with your whoever. Samsung is saying, this is not me. This is no conspiracy theory. This is conspiracy fact, or at least fact. I'm sure there were 2 or more people in a room discussing this feature on the Samsung TV. Could have been an open conspiracy. Hey, we think it's a good idea that every television we produce can pick up everybody or anybody's voice in the immediate area and record or transmit via third party, which we won't tell you who it is. So it could be anybody. It could be Joe Blow, could be the NSA. Who knows? But that doesn't matter. Because we're just going to take your voice and whatever you said, and we're just going to run it through our phones, through the internet, and we're going to make that a feature in our television. Ask me why that is a feature at all. To make your life easier? Is that what it is? It makes your life easier to be that connected. But go ahead and do that experiment on your own. Set your phone down and just have a conversation with whomever about whatever. Pick your favorite restaurant or pick an out of the ordinary item you might purchase. And then over the next couple days, watch the ads that pop up on your social media, and then you decide,
Hey, Joan, you ready for me yet?
yeah, come on in, Shady.
All right, because it's about time.
How's the toilet issue?
You don't want to know, Joan. You don't want to know.
What do you mean I don't want to know?
Listen, it's TMI, and that's all I'm going to say.
So now that Shady's back from his time off there, what'd you do on your little time off?
You know what I did?
Well, you said you had to make a detour. Where did you go?
Well, Joan, we stopped off in Mexican town. Want to get some tacos before everybody's deported.
Yeah, but you can get tacos anywhere, Shady. And not everybody's going to be deported. They're only talking about the illegals.
Joan, you're talking about the wrong kind of taco.
Well, what kind of taco are you talking about, Shady?
Well, I'd rather not say on the radio.
Well, I don't understand.
Let's just say they were fish tacos. My enchilada enjoyed it.
Okay, if you're going to be so mysterious about it, Shady, do you have cool or uncool ready for us?
Well, I sure do. And it's a pretty good one.
Well, what is it?
I'll tell you once you give me the intro.
All right, I forgot. It's been a long time since we did this.
And I know you got a short memory.
Who says I got a short memory?
I do. Now shut up.
All right, then. Tonight's cool or uncool is...
The Republicans dragging their feet on Obamacare.
Oh, so you were listening earlier.
Well, yeah, you got it all pumping in every room there.
Well, I like to pump in every room.
Listen, John, I'm here all the time. I know you don't do any pumping.
Well, you're not here all the time.
Can we get on with this? I'm thirsty and there's people calling.
All right. Our first call comes in from Montreal, Canada. Wilfred, what say you?
What the hell? This is uncool!
Okay, thanks for your call. Over to Tampa, Florida. Cora, cool or uncool?
Sonny, you just shut up! Stop talking to let that other guy talk! You're an idiot!
You know, she's got a point there. Maybe I should do your radio show for you.
But it's called the John LeBang Show.
Well, we'll change it to the Shady Show.
Well, that's kind of a dumb name for a show, don't you think, Shady?
Well, how about we call it Shady Superfly Sexy Show?
Don't you think that's a little long and hard to say?
What do you mean? It's easy to say. Shady Sexy Superfly Show, where you can get all the superfly information to make yourself sexy.
Shady, you're kind of old. I don't think you're very sexy anymore.
You know, Joan, you might want to rephrase that.
Well, what do you mean?
Never mind. Get on with it.
Over to Tokyo, Japan. Gojira, what say you? Thanks for your call. Now over to Austin, Texas. AJ, what say you?
You can feel that flame of rebellion starting to lap up and lick right up there.
Thanks for your call.
Baby's on medication.
Back out to the phones. Peppa, cool or uncool?
I'm supposed to pay for my next babies without my Obama's care. I love President Obama.
Okay, thanks for your call. What's wrong, Shady?
Oh, the memories.
The memories of what?
That voice. Are we done here?
Yep, we're right up against the clock.
Good, because after that last phone call, I gotta go to the bathroom.
So you got that all under control?
No, but I don't care. I'll wade through the swamp.
So what happened in there anyways?
Let's just say we were trying to drain the swamp. I'll see you later, John.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes or 120 minutes if you're catching both hours of the John LeBang Show. I'd like to thank all my affiliate stations for allowing me to be part of your family. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you all for listening, and until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.
2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
Well, I would like to know how long it's going to take Ditsy to recover.
Oh, it's you again. I told you, she had a double booby surgery. It's gonna take a while for it to heal.
But I want to know when she will wake up.
She's gonna wake up when she does. Any more questions?
Could I get some cream for my itch on my bum bum?
What kind of itch is it?
It is the one that makes me scratch a lot.
Do you have a rash?
I don't know. Would you want to look?
Damn it, I'm a doctor, not a proctologist.
Well, then what should I do?
Call a specialist. Thank you for using the virtual medical doctor. Bye.